You don't want to talk to that guy? He plays in the NFL.
He's a linebacker. Skill positions only for Don Amigo.
I'm saying you're a football player. It's in your blood. That's racist.
Yeah, I know I'm a great ref, and I'd like to play the game now.
When I am playing hoops, all of the stress and responsibility of my job here just melts away. Who am I? Am I Michael Scott? I don't know. I might just be a basketball machine.
The inspiring words of a fan who'll always root for the home team, even if they lose this game.
They lost! Those losers!
No. The game's not over.
Woo! Not over! Woo!
Gentlemen, welcome back. This round is on me, and if you have found yourself one booth down in our little digital pub with plenty, welcome. A doctor, a lawyer, a pilot, and a professor have all walked into a bar. And we're going to dispel with some of the usual pleasantries here because we've got a big mammoth task to
no
take
dailies,
tonight.
no question. We are getting straight
into
here.
it. And
we're going to start right in the middle of the episode.
yeah, so we're all going to...
Much like our last bracket.
Oh, yay! Tonight, we are completing the second half of our Sci Fi Movie March Madness bracket, the Eastern Conference. And this is the one that I've honestly been looking forward to, because Cody, as the architect of our bracket here...
Which apparently I did an excellent job on the Western Conference, because I got a clean sweep on advancements. On the last round, I predicted them all correctly.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
I need bank records between you and Zach Hacker. That's all I gotta say.
I'll have to see if Mr. Hacker's on retainer tonight for any tiebreakers. We had a lot of tiebreakers the last time, and I think that's a sign that we picked some good movies, because there wasn't a lot of clear winner. There was Back to the Future, obviously.
That may have been our only one.
And E.T.
Oh, yeah, E.T.
Was that the only sweep? Yeah.
E.T. was a clean sweep.
Oh, and E.T. Okay.
Yep. It just didn't feel as dramatic, because it was like...
It's E.T., of course.
That's where we started it off, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Okay, Cody, before we get going, just to remind everybody about the rules. It's majority wins. If there's a tie, we'll pull in a tiebreaker, but you also have the Rotten Tomato, which, when thrown, if your movie, the one that you are rooting for, is being outvoted, you can throw your tomato, we pause the game, and we look up the Rotten Tomatoes audience and critic score, average them together. If your score beats the movie that has the majority vote, your movie advances regardless. That's certified fresh. But if your combined score is lower, your tomato might be rotten. You only get one. The other movie advances anyway. And
much like Highlander, there can only be one.
there can only be one. So, Cody, what have you concocted for us tonight?
So our first bracket for tonight in the Eastern Conference is Robots, Humans, and Social Commentary. These are movies that involve what it means to be human, humans who may have augmented abilities, and also has a message behind the story.
Okay.
So, our first round is RoboCop, the classic 1980s film, starring none other than our namesake, Murphy, versus Logan.
My other namesake.
Your other namesake.
Wow, Williams loses and wins either way.
I didn't even make this next.
This is Logan versus Murphy. Love it. So, Cody, do you remember when we went to see Logan?
We didn't see Logan.
Yes, we did.
I was in law school.
Don't gaslight me on this.
I was in law school when I saw Logan.
Slowly backs out of the room.
I saw it with
them bicker.
You saw it with your father.
You weren't there?
I wasn't there. I was in law school. It was 2017.
Well, it makes the story a little bit better then, because...
You know what's great, though, Cody? You now are so much like your father that he can't tell the difference between the two of you.
I am named after my father, who's named after his. All of our first name is Logan. And so Logan
really helps if you want to impersonate somebody and their social security is actually the exact same number.
Two Logans saw Logan and then went to eat at Logan's
Texas
Roadhouse?
Steakhouse.
That's just excessive at this point.
RoboCop after
wins.
the movie. It was incredible. It was like, Cody, you weren't on the team with me because our high school time didn't overlap, but there was an academic team, quick recall game, where we have been desperate for Ulysses S. Grant to be the answer to a question because I went to Grant County High School. I was on the team with Grant Wallace, and we were desperate for him to answer the game because when they call it, Dallas, you've been doing academic team with Maylee recently, they call your school, then you, and then ask for the answer. And the question popped up. Everyone half raised out of their chair.
Which president was first pulled over for speeding in a horse-drawn wagon? That would have been the answer.
Grant. And then Grant Wallace chimed in, Grant. We lost the game because we lost our minds after
But
that
you
answer.
won the
And
See, when I was on the academic team, they asked a question about a Greek god, and somebody on our team locked up, hit the button, and then said testicles. And I thought the coach was going to murder us. It has nothing to do with this story. But I just thought this is the only chance I'll get to tell it. So here we are.
I didn't have Dallas making a testicles joke on the bingo card.
I'm voting Logan, for the record. I didn't know if anybody was curious about that. I'm voting Logan.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Are we doing movies?
We're just here,
RoboCop
apparently.
versus Logan. What do you got, Dallas?
So when I saw RoboCop, I am a third generation RoboCop, so it really spoke to me.
Named after his father, RoboCop McKinley.
Yeah.
They all go by their
RoboCop
middle
McKinney.
name.
Yeah.
Thaddeus RoboCop McKinley.
Yeah.
McKinley. No, McKinney. McKinney. RoboCop McKinney.
This one's hard because RoboCop has a lot of nostalgia for me. I had multiple RoboCop action figures, which heavily
It's
just propaganda
what a weird
one of
movie
them
to have toys for.
right?
Yeah.
You could take his arms off and put rocket launchers on him, but you could push a button in his chest and he would be like,
Hey,
freeze!
kids.
And it'd be like, and then you pushed it again and it would go, drugs are bad. So there's a little propaganda there. But Logan is
The
really
stop
good.
and frisk add-on was a little weird, but you know.
It was, but it was efficient.
No, Dallas, bad.
I was kidding. Oh boy, I think I'm gonna go RoboCop because it's also another one of those. It gets referenced from its inception, even to now.
William?
I'm gonna go RoboCop.
I am one who is all for the contact high from nostalgia. Believe me, I am buzzed on nostalgia most of the day. I have none for RoboCop. I watched it for the first time for this bracket.
How you feel?
And I call me a prude if you want to, but I have there's a couple things that will ding a movie for me. Unnecessary breasts are one of them. If it's just
I watched
we
it as
have
a child on television.
Now I can't. Logan also had it too, and that's one of the things
Yeah.
that kind of sucked me out of that movie. But I've got to go Logan.
Not in the same way, though. You have to. Context matters.
Yeah, I know, and I know that there's.
But could either of your daughters watch either of these movies? And the answer is no. So for that rationale alone, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes advances.
We can't retroactively change things.
Yes, I can. I'm going to edit this episode.
We already passed the time travel bracket. We
Dang
can't
it.
go back.
He's got me. He's got me. Okay, so what's your official vote, William?
Oh, Logan.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't get that from the.
No, I didn't. I just needed to hear him say it, so I felt better about myself.
When the guy was snorting cocaine off of her chest, I'm like, okay.
It could have been the Wolf
okay.
of Wall Street. That's a whole different where it was going. So
no, Logan advances for me.
Dallas, I will say this is another. I watched it for the first time here. I felt your nostalgia. Talk about
sending it to
nostalgia
you.
contact high.
It's Bluetooth.
Like, I respect your like, I felt it in the Force, and I understood why you loved it, especially when it got like stop motion on there. And I respect some good stop motion.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
It was
about
done
I
well.
love good stop motion. With that,
I you know what? Maybe I want to change my vote just to screw over Cody right now because I feel a little
Whoa.
offended that he neglected to point out that RoboCop's name is not Murphy. It's Alex. And I was just waiting for you to get to that,
Alex
and you
Murphy.
haven't. Yeah. So maybe I want to change my vote just to screw with you.
I watched 16 movies in like
Gonna
2
do
months.
that.
I did not.
They do
You
refer to
procrastinated,
Alex Murphy
remember?
a
You
lot.
can't remember
I'm
everything.
not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
With that being said, though, I saw X2 in the theaters. I saw X3 in the theaters. I saw First Contact, Days of Future Past. Like, I grew up with the X-Men movies. And Lord, Logan gut-wrenched me. It is the greatest superhero movie I have ever seen that I will not watch again because I'm just all the emotions it will make me feel. I will say the how it should have ended does a Les Miserables parody with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Do you hear the Wolverine? Which we actually played on the show once.
Yeah, you talked about that one.
Yes, and I love Logan, Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart. Like, we're going to talk about Patrick Stewart here in a little bit, but
Oh yeah.
it's got to be Logan.
Okay.
Is Logan dead now, or is he not dead now?
He's the
It's
Logan
its
of
own,
Logan is
it's its
dead.
own thing. Anyways,
The Logan of Logan is dead, but they're going to keep Hugh Jackman doing it until he's 90.
Multiverse garbage.
He's gonna do this till he's 90.
that's trash. I'm Mr. Johnson from Abbott Elementary.
Have you still not
That's
seen
right.
Deadpool v Wolverine,
I love
Dallas?
that show.
I haven't seen it.
Have you still not seen Deadpool versus Wolverine?
I have not.
Okay,
haven't
they
either.
explain all that.
Yeah.
Do they?
They
Yeah,
make sure they respect the ending of Logan. But with that being said, we are moving on to our next round. I, Robot, the Will Smith classic versus the Jordan Peele horror film Us.
Ooh.
Well, not all at once.
Oh, you were making hand gestures, so
Yeah,
I
I was
wasn't
like,
sure what you.
William, go. William, go.
So
He's playing chess right now.
He is.
first of all, what did you all think of Us?
No.
As-
Well,
I-
you got to give
well-
your opinion. I'm
Okay,
pulling the
Us was
audience
incredible. I think Lupita Nyong'o is
We are
one
incredible, aren't we?
is one of the
It's
most talented
fine,
actresses
yeah.
working today, and the premise of her playing her doppelganger and Jordan Peele taking a turn into horror was not on my 21st century bingo card. Like after
He has so many
his-
bingo cards that are very niche for
Yeah.
each individual situation.
you don't
If you have
don't-
enough
you haven't
bingo
bound
cards,
them
you
into
will
a
win every time.
journal that you keep into your no.
No,
Okay,
no.
okay, all right.
No,
Well,
that's
I'll
new.
Let's stick that back in there. Neither do I. But his freshman outing in the horror space with Get Out,
Oh, yeah.
blew me away. And I didn't think that he was going to be able to follow it up the way he did. But Us was phenomenal. For any of you who have not seen it, this family goes to their lake house on vacation, and there are intruders that come into the house, and they realize that it's Us. That's where the title comes from. And then madness ensues from then. And we've seen actors do their doppelganger or do their twin, and I've never seen somebody give such radically different performances.
Oh, yeah? You ever seen The Darkest Timeline, Evil Abed and Evil Troy? I've seen
Chills.
better.
I have. And they
Evil Troy
I think
and Evil Abed.
they screen tested a diabolical mustache on Lupita Nyong'o, and it just didn't work with the test audiences, so she had to do it without it. But
See?
I thought I loved it. I thought it was incredible. I Robot was also good. It unlocked a new fear I didn't know I had. That zombies can run really fast. I had only
Zombies? Did you watch the right Will Smith movie? Are you thinking I Am Legend?
Oh no.
Wait a second.
Oh no.
Wait a second.
We
Hold
saw
up.
William. We saw iRobot in the drive-in movie theater years and years ago.
Hold up. Is this a bit?
No. The fact that this is the one movie that you guys actually saw together.
We saw this movie together.
I know I've seen it, but I watched I Am Legend for this bracket.
William, no. Wait, iRobot with Alan Tudyk and Will
Yes,
Smith.
I know now.
and,
I know now.
what's his name from Babe? James Cromwell and
Were you worried about where the robots were going to?
And we actually saw this movie together, William. Unlike the last time, 2 times you lied.
No. Okay, first of all, we're gonna have his vote may count for less going forward now because he didn't even see it.
I mean, I've seen it.
This is great.
But
A long
did
time
you?
ago.
Oh, William.
Well,
Okay.
This is fantastic.
Well,
Because I'm a little offended because iRobot is my vote. I know that people
Okay.
don't love iRobot, but it's one of the best Shia LaBeouf movies of all time. It's the best Shia LaBeouf movie with Shia LaBeouf and robots, you know? And
wait, Shia LaBeouf's in that movie?
yeah. Yeah, he's like the little street urchin that keeps bothering
Because it's been like 15 years
Detective
since I've seen
Spooner.
iRobot. So, like, hey.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
Well,
Like,
I feel less bad because now I'm going to have I have a confession I'm going to make here. I didn't finish Us.
the Murphy brothers are just like tanking this bracket right here.
I got about a third into it, and then I went Jordan Peele's next movie. Nope. Can't do it. Nope.
Nope is a superior movie to
Like
Us for the
I
record.
went Nope.
I like
and it's
Us-
more
I like Us
sci-fi
more than
than
Nope.
Us.
Nope was
But,
good, but I like Us more.
I watched YouTube videos. I know kind of what happens to be able to talk about it, but horror in me takes a special kind, and I was just like, no,
Doesn't
can't
do
it.
much for me either.
I can't do
It's
it. Like
fine.
Quiet Place transcended a lot of like my hangups with horror for a lot of reasons. But
Okay.
I just don't do horror across the board for the most part.
William, you don't even know what you're arguing against right
I
now.
know.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I have a confession.
don't.
I
my
don't
vote
even
doesn't
own
really-
a television.
Dallas has just been reading. He's walked into Barnes and Noble.
He's bought all
into
the
their-
novelizations.
Yeah.
Yep,
all
exactly.
these movies.
Yeah.
He's
If
like,
there's not a little golden book of one of these, I have no clue what's going on.
I now need a Dune 2 Little Golden Book.
it's just called
Give it time.
Dune, and it's been made. It's been around since the '60s. It's pretty good.
But I need it in Little Golden Book form.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll get on that.
Okay. Well, I mean, Cody
Dallas?
didn't finish the movie, and I watched the wrong one. So, what do you guys got?
Dallas.
I kind of feel the same way about that Cody does about Us. Is I did feel like it was a little more horror, a little less sci-fi
Yeah.
in its context. iRobot, I have read this one. It actually is Isaac Asimov.
It is.
Alex. So
I know that,
I've read
yeah.
it, and I've watched it. They're different.
Oh, completely.
Yeah, but I enjoyed them both. And iRobot is another one of those that here lately has been talked about quite a bit.
Plus,
As a
Alan Tudyk's
cautionary
performance
tale.
as Sonny the robot is mesmerizing.
Alan Tudyk's performance as
Hey, the chicken.
blank.
Is incredible.
It's
As K2SO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first, like the cast is great. I understand that it's not true to the source material. It's inspired by.
Yeah.
As a movie, the car chase scene where he's being attacked by all of the robots. Oh, one of the top chase scenes in sci-fi ever, in my opinion.
After watching this, I got a crossbow and shot my toaster in front of my Roomba just to let it know, like
Who's
you
in
screw
charge?
around.
Look,
Yeah.
I saw it, and it's been 15 years, but if putting up against Us, it's iRobot. So like
that's fine.
It also is the reason
Fine.
why, like, if I If I talk to any sort of AI, I say please and thank you, so that way
I'm not
they
being
know
taken.
who's on their
yeah.
side. Yeah.
Yeah.
My memories of it are vague because it's been years, but it's
One of
iRobot.
my favorite movie dialogue scenes ever is in iRobot. One of the like best, like I sat there and went, that's hilarious and deep. They're walking through Detective Spooner, Will Smith's character. They're going through the lab, and the chick who's his other investigator, she's like, people don't just come back from the dead. And Will Smith goes, well, there was this one guy a long time ago. And then you get a jump scare from Sonny jumping out. I'm like, this is great. Like,
Yeah.
well written, funny. Yeah, it's got that little pizzazz. You did your little like Salt Bay sprinkle over at Dallas. I like that. So iRobot advances?
iRobot advances.
Well, when we come back, we now have the Sci-Fi Comedy Bracket.
Oh, boy.
We will see you. We will hitchhike our way to the other side of the break.
Nice. I love it. All right, we'll be right back.
I'm gonna go as fast as I can so I don't miss anything.
Excuse me, may I go to the bathroom first?
I gotta go to work.
We'll return after these messages.
This episode is brought to you by the Big Red Button Podcast.
Do you know what you'd do in a nuclear apocalypse?
Because we sure as quack don't.
See how our choices get us into trouble and back out again in this actual play podcast.
Big Red Button is for lovers of the Fallout franchise, choose your own adventures, and tabletop role-playing games rolled into one big audio drama.
Our band of stragglers is unraveling a mystery in the wasteland, and we're at the mercy of the roll of the dice.
So grab your Geiger counters, take your rat away, and subscribe to our new show, The Big Red Button.
Oh, shoot, did I miss the halftime show? Gosh dang it, who'd they have?
What are you doing in here? You're in here. I pay for that privilege.
I'm feeling much better now.
Yeah, I'm having an heart attack. Get back to work.
All right, now we're back with the Sci-Fi Comedy Bracket, which I'm surprised how many sci-fi comedies there are that were on this list.
This is fun. This was fun.
So our first round, Spaceballs, the classic Mel Brooks Star Wars parody, versus Galaxy Quest, the
Star Wars and then some parody. It's got everything under the sun in there.
What do y'all think, William?
This was Spaceballs was another one of those movies that Kristen said, "Oh, I watched this all the time as a kid," and we watched it together. And she goes, "I don't remember that."
Yep.
Same.
And so my first experience with Spaceballs was her kind of like, "I'm sorry. Oh, I don't remember. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh," the entire time we watched it. Galaxy Quest, of all of the movies on this bracket, it's meta commentary on sci-fi fandom that then turns into an actual sci-fi movie. Is I don't think it's something that I don't think has been reproduced.
There was that Phineas and Ferb episode, Cody will be proud of this, where they've got the geeks versus the dorks, or nerds.
Geeks
versus nerds. That's what it
Yeah.
was. And they do have something like that, where it's fantasy versus sci-fi.
I guess you could say, what was it? The
But no
Nathan
one's really
Fillion
done it.
show Castle, where he writes like murder mystery fiction, and then they actually bring him in to consult on actual murder mysteries.
Yeah,
So a fan of thriller that goes on thriller adventures,
and those books actually became real life books.
Of course they
that's
did.
too meta for me, even.
Yeah,
That's saying
too deep,
something.
too deep. But you want to talk about cast on this one? Alan Rickman, Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver,
Sam Rockwell, Justin Long.
right?
Just keeps going.
It's Galaxy.
Rainn Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just pops up in
Alan
there, and you're like,
Rickman just. What more can you say? Like,
I did not. I'm going to be so brutally honest. I did not want to watch 3 of the 4 of these movies in this bracket. And I enjoyed 4 of 4 of these movies in this bracket. I didn't grow up in a Mel Brooks family. Like, that wasn't our cup of tea. I've seen Blazing Saddles, and it's funny. It's so edgy that I just go, whatever. Like, I understand the commentary that's being made. Spaceballs is so absurd. Maybe I'm just not an absurdist humor kind of guy. Like,
you're not an 80s humor kind of guy.
I'm not. I am really not. I enjoyed Spaceballs when all was said and done. The just random non sequitur jokes that you're like, how did we get there? Like, I'm surrounded by a-holes. Who else is an a-hole? I'm an a-hole. And you're like, where is this coming from? Mel Brooks casting himself in the movie as two different roles. And you're like, okay. Not only that, Spaceballs gave us the plot for the Marvels. Like, oh, let's just steal the atmosphere from other planets. Where did they get that from? Oh, Spaceballs. Crazy. However, Galaxy Quest was so surprising to me. I had seen a trailer for Galaxy Quest that did not do a good job as a trailer and had led me to believe one thing about the movie, and I thought it was just hard sci-fi. And then I watched it and I went, oh, there are layers to this onion. And it was a great movie. Like, I would watch that again. So I'm going to give it to Galaxy Quest.
It had so much thought-provoking material and social commentary that it was on public television last week.
Wow.
Yeah.
They didn't have the alien chest bursting
Probably
alien
not. Probably
jump
not.
out of John Hurt on public television and start singing, hello, my baby, hello, my darling. That didn't happen because it didn't provide value to...
Probably
I am
not.
Shocked. They couldn't make that again today or some stupid thing that's been parroted
Dallas,
online.
what do you think?
So Spaceballs is a good goof because it is just taking Star Wars, which was really popular when this came out, and they're like, what
I've
if
never
we
heard
could
of it.
make a goof? And they did it. They made a big goof. Galaxy Quest is also funny, but it also is teaching lessons and like has other things going on too. Spaceballs is just how could we add some more comedy here? I feel like the same way you feel about Spaceballs is how I feel about a lot of movies that are like started as SNL skits or they're seeded from those
Wayne's
things.
World. Yeah.
Party time.
So Galaxy Quest wins it for me.
Wow. So we're 3-0 so far,
4-0.
Cody.
Yay!
Yeah.
It was actually on my list as an option. So
Oh, it was okay.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
That's
Galaxy
awesome.
Quest
That-
wins.
I did not the trailer so poorly set me up that I went, this looks like the dumbest movie I've ever seen. I love these three goobers so much. I'm going to watch this dumb movie. Oh, wait. I'm like 4 minutes in and I'm like, hold up. What movie is this? And Alan Rickman's great and Tim Allen's great. And Sam Rockwell's here as an MC. And like, what's happening? This is adorable. It just kept getting better. Great pick, Cody. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is
That was back when trailers were not, they were to like give you a tease, not let me
It
try to
didn't tease
explain
me
this
well.
movie
Didn't
to you.
do a good job. It was whatever.
So blowout win for Galaxy Quest.
Yay!
So
Did not see that coming.
All right. Next, we hitchhike on by to Hitchhiker's Guide in the Galaxy versus surprise entry, the greatest Christmas movie of all time, Violent Night, is making a surprise comeback.
Plus, Christmas Chronicles. They're going to you get two for the price of one.
This is around the
What's
same
that?
part
A
of
3-for-1. It's James and the Giant Peach. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
please.
All right.
No.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy versus another Will Smith classic, Men in Black.
I have a bone to pick with this right here. Because Men in Black was not initially on this list.
First off, calm down.
Men in Black is a recent entry. And I am the only person who suffered as a
why is
result.
that?
Yeah, you
Alex.
did.
Because when we first made this bracket, someone in this group decided to put Predator 2 on the bracket. And I was the first person to get going in watching all the movies. I did not procrastinate to the past 2 months. I started early, watched often, and I had to stop watching Predator 2 3 separate times because it was so stupid,
Your Blade Runner
so
2049.
gory, so inappropriate. Like, if I'm saying that, oh my gosh, yeah, do you think Genevieve could watch this with me? No, I shouldn't watch this with me. It was bad. So we finally get to start talking, and Dallas goes, "Hey guys, could we remove?" I'm sorry. Somebody goes, "Can I remove?"
Yeah, we don't know who it was.
Yeah, no clue. Can we remove Predator 2? Oh, yes, we can.
You're welcome.
It's a horrid movie, and
we want
Men in Black.
positive,
Men in
good
Black
feelings.
Men in Black wins. It's a great movie already. So I was like, great. We're going from a negative to a positive. Men in Black.
You're welcome. I don't see what the complaint is here.
I don't know why you're saying you're welcome. I didn't name who put Predator 2 on there.
I know. I was speaking up for that person who remains nameless.
Exactly.
And I would
went
also
from horrible
like to
taste
preface
to
my
great taste.
ability to judge a movie is not predicated on, can my 7-year-old daughter watch this movie? Okay.
Someone
we
roll the
have
tape.
watched
Roll the tape for
watched
me.
PG movies together, and there are different.
I can't watch
PG.
The Iron Giant because I couldn't have Genevieve in there. But Big
It's
Hero
billed
6
as
has been on
PG.
rewatch for months.
That's
and months.
essentially TVY7.
That means
I would not watch it with her. Big Hero
parental
6 was PG.
guidance suggested.
Yeah, and I
Your-
watched the movie, and my parental guidance was, no, she's not going to watch this. She's not
There
going to
you
sit
go.
and watch an R-rated movie.
Sure. The parental guidance has told me that I shouldn't even watch. The R in my brain went, what is the stupid movie that I'm watching? Danny Glover can't even save, or what's his name? No, not Danny Glover.
It was Danny Glover.
It's
Yeah,
Danny
Danny
Glover.
Glover.
Yeah, it's Danny Glover.
Danny Glover can't even save this movie. This is horrid. Like, it was
Listen, I
terrible.
watched that movie as a kid on TV.
Hitchhikers
And then
felt
It was the
upon
only
further
TV edit
investigation-
that we wound up going, oh, this is why they edited it for TV, and it's not good. Anyway, you know what? We're getting too in the weeds. Men in Black.
on a movie that is not even on the bracket.
More Will Smith, awesome. Tommy Lee Jones, awesome. The rookie, the buddy cop, plus the feeling out of place, new to the world. It's great. Men in
Tony
Black.
Shalhoub's also in it.
Yes.
He was in, you were
Vincent
talking about like
D'Onofrio.
absurdist movies. I felt like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was another like theater of the absurd,
Kind of. It's more. It's
but in
British
a quaint
humor.
way.
Yeah, it's dry British humor, which is normally my cup of tea. Pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. It's fine. It's a good movie. If it comes on, I'd let it play. But it's one of those. They feel like little vignettes strung together. Versus, it's almost like new Monty Python, if that makes sense.
Oh, Tony Shalhoub, Sam Rockwell, and Alan Rickman. All of them in Galaxy Quest.
We shouldn't even talk about this because we're going to do our trivia based on the brackets afterwards. Ooh.
Okay.
No,
All right.
no.
Well,
erase that from everyone's collective memories.
Okay.
Dallas.
We should use the little forget me light flash. Men in Black.
Dallas, what do you think?
So, Hitchhiker's Guide. I loved the books.
You got to stop reading the books. You're too smarticle for us. Quit reading, Dallas, because you're ruining the television.
But I feel like if Hitchhiker's Guide was made in a different time, I feel like it is a product of when it came out.
Yeah.
That style.
Early aughts, kind of.
Yeah, I feel like if it came out now, it would probably be a really good Apple TV series.
Yes.
It'd be fantastic.
I could see that.
They could do it because technically the improbability drive or whatever they call it makes everything different every time. So you could.
Men in Black, I've always, like, from the day I saw it, like, I'll watch it 1,000 times. If it's on, I will watch it. When I was in Cleveland and on lots of medicine, sitting in a hospital bed.
Seeing the ghost of Robin Williams passed.
I did. It was during that time. I was heavily medicated. I was seeing things, and this came on, and I watched them all. And that's even better. That's the best way to watch it, if I'm going to be honest.
You're the only one that got to watch one of these movies on drugs, and I'm kind of jealous, actually. It sounds like a great time. And it's also one of the best rides at Universal. Criminally underrated, you know?
Oh, yeah, you're not wrong.
I've not ridden that one.
It's basically the inspiration for Buzz Lightyear Star Command.
Yeah, you have you're hunting aliens, and you've got all these targets, like aliens that you can shoot at.
Although you will get dizzier on Men in Black.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great ride.
There's also a whole rap from this movie.
It's Will Smith, you know. I got a rap to sell movies.
Yeah, he dances with an alien in the music video. So
it's the Cody.
I mean, I'm going to be, because this is one of my wife's favorite movies, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
She's a fan of Men in Black?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It has starring the man she would leave me for, Martin Freeman, and a depressed Alan Rickman. A depressed Alan Rickman as a robot. Like, so the movie's great, but if Men in Black has to advance, I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
I appreciate
really
your loyalty vote for your wife.
This is a vote for my wife.
On this one.
Like,
I can appreciate
it. And ironically enough, in my prediction bracket, this is the first one I got wrong.
No.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
This is the first one I got wrong.
But that means you're doing really well so far. So
yes.
You know what? You have earned a break. You've guessed so well. I think you've earned a break.
Also, no one has thrown their tomato yet.
No. We got bigger fish to fry, baby.
That's not started yet.
This is going to be Final Four territory. We all start throwing these.
Yep.
Well, okay, so we can throw it in the Final Four. We can't throw it in the finale.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, because I had my the Christmas one. I threw it for Die Hard because it was either throw it or lose it, and it won. Oh, man. Okay.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's going to be fun times with aliens.
Your definition of fun is strange, but I'm going to go with it.
I think there's been no aliens so far. Only in this one.
Oh, we're going to have to start texting Zach now because there's aliens.
I've already gotten his picks. I've already went ahead and prepared.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, guys. Now we are back. And we are joined with Fun Times with Aliens. Ooh. Our first round. The 7th Star Trek cinematic motion picture and the second of the Next Generation era, Star Trek First Contact, versus the critically acclaimed District 9.
So the way I remember, there's a little mnemonic. So people talk about Star Trek 1 versus 2 versus 3 versus 4. They're all numbered. And so you can remember it because it's beheaded, divorced, died, beheaded, divorced, survived. That's the way you remember which of the wives of Henry VIII.
Yes.
No, wait. Okay. I don't know how that. Oh, is it only the odd movies?
Actually,
for the Star Trek franchise, did I make a nerdy reference so 8th. Nerdy that it was lost on all of you?
I'm sorry.
I think so.
It is the 8th It is the 8th Star Trek movie theatrically released,
and it broke the curse of only odd numbered movies.
Even numbered ones are the ones that are good. It is
so. I wanted to pause for a second that none of you all understood the Henry VIII.
I understood the Henry VIII.
The wives of Henry VIII.
I understood that.
That's actually the real.
But I didn't know
How it was tying.
How it
to-
was.
So
I was
Alex,
waiting for the tie-in.
the least nerdy of the four of us, the least nerdy, knew that there was a
in your
curse.
own ways.
There's a curse with Star Trek movies. There's a curse with Star Trek movies that
Wow.
all the even numbered ones are good and all the odd numbered ones are bad.
I don't know what to do with my hands
That
right
was
now. I kind of
broke.
feel.
With that the curse was broken with the 10th Star Trek movie, Star Trek Nemesis, the one where Data dies. Spoiler alert. And Tom Hardy plays a clone of Jean-Luc Picard. But that curse was broken.
I think I remember seeing that with you in theaters, but as we've established,
we did. We did.
Conference.
I think we saw it in South Dakota, to be precise. But but with that being said, Star Trek First Contact. Now, Wars is my baby, but Star Trek in the last several years has definitely like climbed up there in like
It's like your nephew, your niece,
in the fandom. His Clark crawled up there in the fandom, and it was first time I saw that movie. Like I've watched a bunch of episodes of Next Generation with Dad growing up, so I knew the characters, I knew who they were, I knew this blonde lady got killed by a trash bag in the first season.
Yeah. What? Huh?
No joke.
Okay. No. What? No. Let's. I don't even want the context. Move on.
No. We're just gonna let that one just sit there.
Yeah.
Anyways,
marinate.
but I knew the content. I knew the characters enough to be able to like walk into this movie without like really needing anything else. And I don't even like. I was in Somerset. And I just randomly decided to watch it. And let me just say something about my year in Somerset. Not a good place in life. I was not kind of a happy person in life. And that movie was like the shot in the arm. Like I needed this like cathartic release and escape that it just absolutely blew me away. I just randomly just saw it on a streaming service and just started watching it. And it was a combination of the score. Was it, I forget who it was. Was it, I'm blanking on his name. First Contact score. I think it was not James Newton Howard. Jerry Goldsmith. Yes. Jerry Goldsmith's score was amazing for it. That sort of 90s film grain aesthetic, cinematography for it. Patrick Stewart is too good of an actor to be in Star Trek. Like he brought Shakespearean class in this Moby Dick style allegory of him hunting his white whale of the Borg. It was so good. It was so good, and it absolutely blew me away, and it catapulted to one of the best movies, one of my favorite movies of all time. So, like, and it started that movie started the I'm going to start watching more Star Trek now resurgence that I've been in for the last several years.
There you go.
Yep. So First Contact gets my vote.
I don't want to poo-poo on your darling, but it was fine. I felt like they could have done more with the whole time travel bit. I like James Cromwell. I didn't really like him in that movie.
Yeah, he was another repeat character in here.
I know trivia is going to be real fun.
As Zephram Cochrane, the guy who discovered warp travel.
I gotta go with District 9. That was another like formidable viewing experience. I
think we saw it together, didn't we?
We did. Mm-hmm.
Not.
I thought I saw
North
it with
Dakota.
you all. No, I saw it with Logan Murphy Sr. That's what it was. My bad. My bad.
Mine's District 9.
Dallas.
So there are certain fandoms that I have learned and realized that I don't think I will ever get into. And one of them is Star Trek. I just can't find the train to get on that makes me want to keep going. And this one wasn't it either. Star Trek feels to me like the way Doctor Who started, where it's like low budget, we're putting like dryer vent things on people to make them look like aliens or robots.
Yeah.
Because at the time, that's all we had. But Doctor Who leaned into like, this is wacky. And I feel like Star Trek leaned into this is serious, but didn't change their formula. So for me, I just
there are
couldn't get on.
plenty of wacky episodes of Star Trek.
Those are like
there was
one-offs.
there's a musical episode in Strange New Worlds where an anomaly causes them all to burst into song and they can't help it.
So
it just
Cody.
doesn't sell me.
Cody, I also will not poo-poo on your darling. I think the problem is that you gave me a list of 8 or 9 Star Trek episodes that were like
stand alone. It could stand alone. It can stand alone. I'm just saying if you wanted to get some context.
Hold on. Let me finish. It can stand on its own. And it's actually my choice. I can't believe I'm saying that. District 9 is very good. Neil Blomkamp is one of those directors that you went, wow, way to completely throw away a career with Elysium and Chappie. Like you come out with an interesting concept in District 9, but it was very much just like his short film Alive in Joburg. And it was just okay, so we just did this longer.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. There's a lot of room for social commentary to be had. I enjoyed First Contact. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed First Contact as a non-Trekkie. I tick off so many Trekkies when I say, oh yeah, my favorite are the trilogy with Chris Pine. And people are like, screw you. Go jump in a river. And I go, why? I love Benedict Cumberbatch as Shere Khan. And they're like, get out. Get out.
I'm not one of those. I will not badmouth the Kelvin trilogy. But
I think that was my foray into, I mean, it did make it mainstream. And I get it.
I start when people ask about Trek, I tell them watch the Kelvin verse movies first to sort of like get your bearings on what this is about.
So when you suggested watching First Contact, I had seen 1 or 2 episodes that you had sent me about the Borg.
Yeah.
I had seen 1 or 2 of their, I wouldn't call it time travel shenanigans, but there were enough that gave me a context for who. And again, I'm a believer that more modern shows are doing Star Trek and Star Wars better. Like The Orville is a better Star Trek show than Star Trek. But First Contact for me, actually,
I'm going to retreat into my shell for that one.
No, I still need to watch The Orville, but
it's a love letter to Star Trek.
Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds are keeping the hope alive. We'll just say
so
that.
I'm going First Contact. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I am.
Yeah. Are we split?
We are.
Cody, you said you went through the rest of it and got
Zach Hacker's pick.
He got his picks. Okay. We're tied. What did Mr. Hacker say?
Mr. Hacker, let me say his exact words. I have never
Morgan
seen
Freeman
that Star Trek,
says,
so that I must default to District 9.
Oh, wow.
With that being said, I'm throwing the tomato.
Yes!
Okay.
Okay. I will look up District 9.
Okay. I will look up First Contact.
I will sit here and watch. You do your thing.
I wasn't going to, but when Alex gave me that vote and I knew where Zach Hacker was going, I'm like, I've got to do it.
All right.
Okay, I've got it.
It's probably going to be District 9. It's a artsy fartsy, critically acclaimed darling.
It's hard to tell.
I think it's probably going to be closer than you think.
Yeah.
District 9.
Alex, you go first.
Pessimism.
District 9 has a critics score certified fresh of 90% and a popcorn meter, the fan review, of 82%, averaged for a total of 86% for District 9. 86%.
Star Trek First Contact has a certified fresh tomato meter of 93%.
Whoa.
And an audience score popcorn meter of 89% for an average of 91%.
Oh my word.
Incredible.
That's a good one.
Jean-Luc Picard has slayed his white whale, and it was District 9.
Hey, fun fact, Moby Dick has no subtext. It is literally just about a man killing a whale. That is actually the meaning. You're welcome.
That's all.
Star Trek First Contact advances.
And we are only halfway through the Fun Time with Aliens bracket. Good night.
All right. Next up, another one of my darlings. Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut versus Alien. I did this intentionally as a kind of a masochistic move.
Oh, buddy. I don't even know where to start.
Since it's my darling with Superman 2, let me just give my spiel.
Okay.
So, Superman 2, the Reeves duology, because 3 and 4 don't exist, of Superman the movie and Superman 2.
Sure.
Superman Returns, also a great movie. And I consider that the trilogy. 3 and 4 never happened.
Okay. Got it.
Those movies, if I were to like do a ranking of superhero movies, I don't put the Superman movies on them because they are like sacred text in my
That's
regard.
fair.
They are just it Kevin Feige said this is the formula in which Marvel does its thing, is that he goes back to the Donner movies and says, look at this. This is how it's done.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
And the Marvel Cinematic Universe was based on Superman as the first superhero. You know, he's like your grandfather. He may not have had the cool toys like you do now. He may not have had all of the fun, modern zippity doodahs, but you respect him and revere him for the man
was
that
a
you
character
have.
from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
And you revere him for what he is. And the reason I said the Richard Donner cut in particular is because Richard Donner was fired midway through the production of Superman 2, and he took on the job of Superman in Superman 2 because the script he was given was so bad. He took the job to save the movie and to save the character of Superman. He felt duty bound to save the movie. And when he got the chance to do his cut and his edition, I'm like, we failed you, sir. Like, we failed you. And it has so much heart. Reeves is still the best Superman. And he made me a fan of the character, and made me a fan of the character. And I respect it. Does a lot of it not hold up? No, it doesn't. Especially Gene Hackman's camp and Miss Tessbach.
I like Gene Hackman in this, but that's funny.
No, I love it, but I can understand why modern audiences might not. But I love these movies, and if James Gunn's Superman movie is not good, I will not be okay.
I knew this was going to be a backdoor to somehow get a Superman rant in here. I knew it.
I would trade the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Speak for yourself.
For a solid Superman trilogy, sans maybe Captain America and the Peggy Dance.
No, you got to give it all up. You just said it. I don't make the rules.
If this Superman and Lois has the same chemistry as Cap and Peggy, I would make that trade.
Listen, you are not Thanos snapping that memory away from me, sir. No,
sorry.
Well,
all right.
So first of all, I would just like to point out that the screen that I'm staring at, this is data, and the tomato over top of the image, which is just funny to me. But Cody, I know I didn't know Richard Donner cut existed until you would not stop about it, and I didn't remember enough about the second one to notice the difference.
He didn't throw the cellophane S. That just weird moment. He like took the S off his chest and threw like a plastic wrap at one of Zod's minions. And
I didn't remember that either. But when you were talking about science fiction, superhero movies were tentative for me. It was can this be science fiction? I think a lot of the Marvel cinematic universe, especially the early days, can fall into the science fiction because it was all based in like Iron Man building his suits and
discovering a new element or
exactly. I've got to give it to Alien on this one. I have to, especially for its influence on pop culture. I mean, there is a alien that bursts out of a chest and sings "Hello, my baby, hello, my darling" in another one of our movies because of this movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I am the blend of Williams' opinion here because I do remember enough about Superman 2, watching it with my dad. We did not watch the Donner cut.
Donner cut came out in 2006.
Exactly.
They had enough test footage there. To be able to reconstruct his cut.
I actually had a touch of nostalgia for the other Superman 2. And there were some scenes there, like when they go to Niagara Falls they're in the honeymoon suite. No, they're not. That doesn't exist anymore in this cut. And I went, wait a second. Some of my favorite sight gags that I can vividly remember from being a child. I do remember the cellophane. I remember those little things and watching them with my dad because he liked Superman 1 and 2. And then they were gone when I watched it again. And I was like, oh, that sucks. So that actually knocked it down in the ranking. And then again, once we get to the technicality of, is this sci-fi or is this superhero comics, which I kind of put in their own category entirely. So I'm also going to go Alien. It's Alien, you know?
Yeah.
And it looks beautiful in 4K. I know some people will whine and whinge about, oh, but it's not as dark. It's not as scary. It's beautiful. I'm sorry. It's a gorgeous film.
The scene that solidified this cut for me, though, was when Lois shoots Clark. Clark takes the glasses off and says, "What if I wasn't Superman?" And she goes, "It's a blank." And I'm like, that was the moment that just did it in for me. But I get it. Alien was great. That was the first time I watched it. Was in this bracket. I get it. It's an all-time classic for a reason that they've made 25 billion sequels of.
Yes.
So, sequels of. So I get it.
I'm not defending
hard
those.
feelings. It's one of my sacred cows. I did it to show that I wasn't intentionally going after anybody in particular.
Alex.
I hurt myself in order to.
No, you could tell there was a lot of thought that went into this.
I like that. All right, so we're going to have First Contact going up against Alien. Sweet 16.
Dallas, did you vote?
I did not. Wait.
Oh, what am I saying then?
It's not going to sway it because it is 3, but also I have zero nostalgia for Superman 2 because I had not watched it before this. And so,
wow,
for me, it did not hold up at all. But also, Superman for me is less about, I guess, that era of Superman, because I did not enter into Superman during that time, but more of less of him struggling against bad guys and kryptonite and things like that, but struggling with his morality because he is an unstoppable force. And the only thing that trips him up is he can't do those dark and bad things to get things done.
And he can't save everyone.
Yeah. So, like, for me, Superman shines a whole lot more when he's around, like, the Batmans who is like, I can beat you because I can get darker than you're willing to go. And you're going to have a hard time with that.
And that was my main critique of Batman versus Superman. Batman's the only one allowed to brood.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. And so for me, I like that of like, oh, look, Superman did a lot of collateral damage. Like, he's not like that side of things.
Even
Alien
when you
is
try
just,
to do good, you can still do a lot of harm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then reckoning with that and like, I need to do this thing to save these people, but I'm going to have to do bad things to get it done. And he has a struggle with that. And that's the part of Superman that I enjoy.
I will say, regardless of whether or not the Gunn Superman movie is good or bad, just irrespective of it, I'm going to need an emergency pod to process my feelings.
Okay, perfect.
Well, that'll be your day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes out.
But
That's
Alien
my
wins my vote 'cause
hour-long
Alien
daily.
is iconic.
Alien.
Yeah.
Well, it'll only be 5 minutes longer than your dailies are normally. Anyway.
Oh,
Ouch.
And I've got a double. Not only did I watch the Super. Oh no, he's got a double daily again.
And one of them is Superman. Get out your sleeping bags, kids. We're not leaving.
I like how it's 3-1 on Alien, and Superman is the topic of conversation. However, with that, we are going to take a break, and we are going to do our final conference of the night.
Yay!
And the rest.
Again with the singing.
We'll be right back, guys.
Are you going somewhere?
Well, yes. Urgent call. Unavoidable. Gotta go.
Excuse me. There's a sign at Ramsett Park that says do not drink the sprinkler water, so I made sun tea with it, and now I have an infection.
I've just about had enough of you.
I'll be back.
This episode is brought to you by Potter Plus, your podcasting home for the upcoming Harry Potter TV show and so much more. Join me, your host, William, and many other magical friends as we pick apart the past, ponder the present, and unfog the future of the wizarding world. Potter Plus is a production of the Grapefruit Network, and you can find it wherever you get your podcasts.
And I am back.
How'd it go?
No, Pam. I'm back.
We have a new weather report. Lightning has struck. I repeat.
Gin and tonic.
Wongers. I don't know if they do bottomless gin and tonic, but we will find it.
All right, guys, we are back with the rest. AKA, I did not know how to classify.
That's fair. Listen,
these
I had a
movies.
feel-good conference in mind because the general feeling at the end of it is you feel better than before you watched it. It's the only
These
thing I had
movies are all
common.
about space.
This could have been Space Adventure if it were not for Tron Legacy.
Web space.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Web space. Okay, we'll do that. So first up, we have 2001: A Space Odyssey, the classic 1960s film, versus 2015, which is weird that movie is 10 years ago now, The Martian.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for making me feel old all of a sudden. Yikes.
Yeah, The Force Awakens was 10 years ago too.
Oh. All right.
Okay, The Martian was the one that I had seen most recently. We watched that not too long ago. 2001: A Space Odyssey. If I had seen a TV cut of it before, I just remember glimpses of it. This was a new watch for me, and I was honestly shocked how much the graphics hold up, how much the practical effects of the space station hold up. There are, I mean, it was made in the 60s. There are things that very obviously date it, but the way that they were able to pull off some of the effects, some of the spacewalks, the travel, this is the forebearer of a lot of science fiction that we have today. The Martian, I read the book first. Dallas, I read this book first, and this is one of those books.
Before I watched both of these. Just saying.
This is one of those books that I started reading one night, woke up at 3 a.m. with a book on my face because I fell asleep reading it because my body just took over and said no, sleep, no read, and finished it the next night. Like I read it in 2 nights, And the movie caught most of that.
It did not have as many F words.
For me, no, it didn't.
No.
But
it got most of it.
I don't want to 2001 is so iconic that it was referenced in the beginning of the Barbie movie.
It also was a year before we went to the moon.
So
we had not even been in space like that.
2001, The Space Odyssey, Barbie, and Blade Runner 2049, all in the same universe.
That's true.
Sure.
I hate
Why not?
that so much.
Have that one.
Wow.
I'll go The Martian, and that's
Ooh.
there's not a lot of
Jeez.
conviction behind it.
William,
good one,
are
though.
you a Southern food chain? Because that was like the Waffle House right there, but I'm okay with where you landed.
Okay.
It was
I'll let
like
you have that one
going
too.
2001, I'm going The Martian, I'm going 2001, I'm going The Martian. I didn't know where I felt that in my soul as we were going back and forth. It was great.
Like I said, there's not a lot of conviction to it, so I had to pick.
All right, Alex.
I feel about Stanley Kubrick the way other people feel about Christopher Nolan. Or I am to Christopher Nolan what people are to Stanley Kubrick and how they are viewed. Stanley Kubrick is one of the most hackneyed, terrible directors that I have ever had the misfortune of watching direct movies. I watched The Shining. I hated it. I watched Eyes Wide Shut. Don't do that. Don't subject yourself to that. I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey. I walked out, to use Cody's verbiage, thoroughly whelmed. I was just...
That's fair.
I have tried watching 2001: A Space Odyssey 4 separate times, and inevitably I turn it off because I just hate it so much. This was the first... Hold on. This was the first watch.
I don't know where you stand. Where?
Yeah, you'll never know.
Flames up the side of his face, burning.
So much.
This was the first watch where I went, it's fine. It was a 3-hour movie with a giant floating baby at the end that meant nothing. It didn't mean anything. It didn't have any conviction or heart. It was just a story that rambled its way through. I don't know what the takeaway is supposed to be. Somebody is actively revoking my cinemaphile card for saying this. There's this expression about English literature where people are like they wax on and on about the meaning of a red door in Charlotte Bronte's books means that no, sometimes a red door is a red door. And 2001: A Space Odyssey is just a 3-hour-long red
a history
door.
Teacher.
It's just so.
I agree with him on that one.
The Martian, again, love Andy Weir, love Project Hail Mary, love The Martian. I even like his space moon heist book,
Artemis.
Yeah.
Is it Artemis?
Yeah. I know people would dog on that. I like Andy Weir. I like his style. So taking that, adapting it to a movie, following this cast, star-studded cast again. Everyone acts their part perfectly. I mean, Matt Damon, Rooney Mara, Jeff Daniels. You got friggin' Childish Gambino in here.
It's the creation of the meme that the American government has spent an obscene amount of money to try to
save Matt Damon. If I
did
had
I say
a
Mark
nickel,
Wahlberg? Did I say Mark Wahlberg? I feel like I did. Did I say Matt
think you said
Damon or Mark
Damon.
Wahlberg? Okay,
Yeah.
good. I felt stupid for a second in my brain where I was like, which one was anyways. It's The Martian for me. The human triumph. It has a message. It has something that I could just latch onto. I love it. It's such a good movie. The Martian.
The Martian.
Dallas.
So I read both of these books before I watched these movies both times. And both of them I love. Both of them I've read the other books that those authors had also written because they were that good. The Martian, the movie, is great. I hate the end scene where he uses the fire extinguisher to get across space. I hate that so much. That's not in the book.
Oh, I'm sorry. You hate physics? You hate excitement?
That's not physics. They're all shooting around all over the place, and he uses a fire extinguisher to somehow regulate himself and get across.
Yeah.
No.
Have you know
No.
the dance in space and Wall-E?
That's different. Wall-E is not trying to
Whatever.
be hyper realistic.
You know what? That's fine. You don't have to like that particular bit.
You're worried about
That part,
hyperrealism?
yeah.
And the
Yes.
option
The
is the
baby.
one with Space Baby?
Well, no, Space Baby is not trying to be realistic though, and I watched it when I was younger, and it is the reason why I like sci-fi movies in general, is because of 2001: A Space Odyssey, because of the way that it did things in that movie, the way that it explains the way that we evolve in the way that it does. That in it, an alien race decides that we have been selected to evolve, and that is why they go on their trek to what they do, and that they have been a part of our evolutionary process since the very beginning.
So
because
you
they started it.
So you mean to tell me an advanced civilization selects a very specific human to witness an extra dimensional experience as part of our evolution? It is fueling the growth of humanity, and you don't love Interstellar. I'm sorry. I want to.
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right. No. I want to hear
another movie.
Because they didn't choose him because of love. They weren't like, you know what, we're going to pilot this ship on love.
Oh, so you mean you just hate movies with a message and a meaning? And
no, love doesn't change physics.
Oh, now we care about physics.
Also, he's got to stop getting lost. He's got to stop going. No, I'm just kidding. I love both of these movies, but this one is the reason why
That's okay.
want to talk about these movies.
Wow.
And the baby scene for me, because I don't know, it caught me then, because that is the rebirth of human. That's the next evolutionary step, and we are now being reborn into
As
space.
giant space babies?
Yes.
Okay,
We're being
Elon.
reborn.
Weird.
And that's where Hal it gets quoted more than most other things. The whole, I cannot do that, Dave. And we call all kinds of other Tekken things Hal because of this movie. And it came out before we went to the moon, and still I think did a great portrayal of space.
No, I would agree.
Okay. All right, Cody.
Dallas, I watched the movie going, I respect this. It's a 60s movie.
That's more than I could say.
It's a 60s movie, so it's definitely slower. I would love to see it in theaters. In kind of a full theatrical experience. With that being said, I didn't take a negative turn with the movie until the Space Baby. And it kind of just ruined it for me.
That's what set
the
you
fire
off?
extinguisher did with me.
Hey,
so Space Babies are my fire extinguishers. Let's make that a t-shirt.
Man.
3-1.
Endangering children, space babies are my fire extinguisher. I don't see us getting any negative emails about this episode at all.
3-1, The Martian.
That's fine. The Martian's a great movie.
And with that, our last round. Dune 2, Electric Boogaloo versus Tron Legacy.
Why did you put... This is the one where I do feel targeted, because those are both my babies.
Oh.
Those are both mine, by the way. So yeah, I do feel a little targeted here. So we've got a movie about
a son dealing with the death of his father, or the disappearance of his father,
with an amazing soundtrack, incredible, visuals, and then we also have
Worms.
Dune 2. So, all right. I'll lead out because they are both my babies here.
Okay.
Okay.
Golly, I hate this so much because I love both of these movies. I could listen to the Tron Legacy soundtrack over and over. I actively listen to the Dune soundtracks when I write. The visuals in Tron Legacy on 4K on an OLED TV are otherworldly. Then there's Dune 2, which is otherworldly. The best movie that Denis Villeneuve has ever made. I saw both of these in theaters. I saw Dune 2 4 separate times. It was that good in theaters. 4 separate times in theaters. I own the Steelbook 4K release. It is, I'm going to say this, and it is not to get a rise. It is the best sequel ever. Even compare, like, I know I joke about the Star Wars rankings. This is better than Empire, like, in terms of a sequel to an original. That's not to get a rise. This is, holy smokes, so good. Dune 2 gets my vote, but I want to throw my own tomato for my own movie. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yeah.
You want to throw a tomato?
I mean, justice
at my
for
face.
Tron Legacy. Yeah. Holy smokes. Dune 2, incredible. Star-studded cast, amazing writing, one of the greatest scores, some of the best cinematography and visuals. This will stand the test of time. This is the greatest sci-fi movie of probably our generation and many to come. I just, it's incredible. Dune 2.
I agree with half of what you said.
Okay.
We watched Dune 1 before we went to see Dune 2 in the theater, and I lamented not seeing Dune 1 in the theater.
Oh.
Dune 2 was incredible. Hands down. It was one of those, I tried to find something wrong with it, and I honestly couldn't. I mean, the acting performances were incredible. Rebecca Ferguson. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Girl, there was one scene where she is with she's trying to book.
Is it as she's walking down the corridor talking to the baby?
Yes.
And she's like, we'll win over the people. And she eerily turns and looks at some of the Fremen in the corner.
Just the expression shift on her face and the menace that was in her stare.
How cold she turns.
I
like
almost wanted to stand up and clap for her in the theater. Tron Legacy, I felt like was written by some college frat brothers.
So that was the half that you disagree. That's so funny. I didn't know where you were going to disagree with me.
Some of the things that I don't even remember what his son's name was. Some of
Sam.
It felt like, oh, let's do this. It felt like there should have been like a lilt every time he spoke.
That's okay.
I've never seen Tron. And again, I came into this.
Okay.
I'm not going to do homework. Like, these were the movies that were put on the bracket. I'm going to watch them as their own standalone movies. It was too early to do young Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
Every time his face was on screen, it completely sucked me out of it.
To be fair, it was still better than the de-aging in Here with Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. That movie was.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Don't waste your time. Don't do it.
Either way, it didn't do it for me.
And that's fine.
It didn't. I had to watch it.
But that soundtrack, though, am I right?
I couldn't.
That soundtrack, though.
I understand the fervor around Daft Punk now.
Sure.
Having seen the movie, I didn't know why they suddenly became so popular. They're actually in the movie, aren't they?
So yeah.
And that clip. Okay. Yeah. Dune, hands down. No contest. That one advances for me.
It is a bit of a shame that we didn't put Passengers on here, because then we would have had two Martin, what's his name? Not Martin Short.
Sheen?
Martin Sheen. There we go. We would have had two Martin Sheen.
Short. would have been great.
I
Would've been
should have
awesome.
put the Santa Claus 3 on here.
I know. But if we had put Passengers as one of our sci-fi movies, but we said good sci-fi, so that was kind of more
If
Chris
Martin Short
Pratt.
was in that,
more
though.
Chris Pratt.
Dallas.
All right. So I have
Read the
differing
books.
takes. I read the books. I did read Dune.
I have.
And did not read Tron. So Tron is another one of those where I feel like it is a victim of its time when that one came out because of text not there all the way, and the vibe that a lot of movies were going for, it just wasn't. I feel like what that movie needed.
In both instances, really. In both Tron 1 and
a
Tron
victim
2.
of its time. Yeah.
Also with Dune being they've tried it. This will be this is the third. If you're including Dune Part 1 and Part 2, the Denis Villeneuve movies are the third attempt. You had Tron being they were held back both by the technological limitations.
I have a different take on Dune as a whole.
Oh.
Than I feel like what is popular right now. And I feel like people have the take they have now on Dune because it is popular. I read Dune. I'm not a big fan of Dune as a series.
As a book,
and what
it's
it
hard.
Is. Because Dune is kind of up its own butt. And because it's like, so Stephen King builds a world from the ground up. Dune starts from the top and names things and pretends like you should hang on to those, and then we'll explain them 600 pages later. It's like, here's a jib jab, and they use the jib jab, and they're never going to tell you what that is, and they're not going to give you context until way later on, assuming
Gom Jabbar is what you're thinking of, but
yeah, they give ridiculous names to things and don't give any context for a lot of it until way later.
How did you feel reading Jasper Ford? Because he does the same thing, where he drops you into a world.
Onboarding with some of that stuff.
Wow,
but his is shorter.
Okay.
And Frank Herbert, he did kind of such a bad job in Dune that they had to do more because he's like, oh, they didn't get that this is actually a bad guy. I'm going to have to write another book to explain why
Spoilers for Messiah. Chill out.
Doubled down.
Mm-hmm.
So Dune 2, fantastic, but it's one of those are they going to change it enough from the books to really drive home the point that he was trying to make in the first place? Or is it going to stay up its butt? And so, fantastic movie, well done, but Dune as a whole, I'm not a fan. And Dune as a whole has struggled up until these movies because of a lot of that, being up its own butt.
Does Denis Villeneuve, the passion for this, the guy that spent his time as a child drawing out storyboards for this movie, does that feel up its butt, or is it just Frank Herbert being up his own butt?
Frank Herbert's up his own butt. These are doing a good job.
Okay.
Because they are explaining the things as they go. And I feel like you get to see it, and they're filming it in a context to where you get it. But whenever they just kind of bring up concepts and things that don't have an analog, and they do not explain their context until Frank Herbert doesn't.
I'm frustrated with this rationale only because it feels like it's a critique of the book and not of the movie.
No,
and now you're judging the movie.
Well, the book tainted my watching of these, and because the older movies aren't as good, so I went into these with some trepidation. These are fantastic. That's why it wins over Tron Legacy.
Oh,
great movie. But I do watch these with some misgivings because I don't like Dune as a book and as a concept.
So I'll just continue watching Denis Villeneuve movies.
Yeah.
And
then read the books after, and then you enjoy it a whole lot more. Genuinely.
You will, because you'll understand.
Is this
what
one
he's
of
talking
those
about,
instances where the movie's better than the book?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I tried reading it 1,000 times. I'm like, I just hate that he is throwing
But
out
what's
concepts
great
without it.
is now that you've seen the movie, you're able to do all the voices.
Yeah. It does bring it into context.
Yeah. Cody?
All right. So
oh no.
I will say David Lynch did an amazing job with Sting, the guy from Toto, Patrick Stewart.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait, sorry, that was the 1984 version. We're talking about the modern one? Got it. Okay. So it's 3-0, so my it's 3 votes already, so it's already a moot point at this point.
You got to swing for what you're going to swing for.
So,
yeah, I want to hear.
So I walked into it again. I like William. Wish I had saw both these movies in theaters. COVID and my movie theater buddy now is, not into these types of movies. My wife. So that kind of limits sort of how many movies I go to is, whether or not she's into them. I am sad that I did not see this movie. It was a good movie. It was a great movie. But I will say, because I didn't get the full theatrical cinema experience, I didn't look at it from the lens of hard sci-fi, if that makes sense. More from the lens of a political science lesson, because that's where my brain went with it.
Okay.
The power politics, the intrigue, the conniving, the backstabbing, all of that stuff.
Sure.
And he was clearly going for sort of a political science lesson here, in terms of the world that he was building. And if I'm going to watch a movie that teaches me a lesson on political science, I'm going to watch Gladiator. Which is the best movie about politics of all time.
Hang on, let me stand back up from that rug you yanked out.
I don't know how to take this, as you are the guy who loves Star Wars, which the prequels are all space politics.
And they are
the
but
entire time.
Yes, and they're also space fantasy and not necessarily
Yeah, because that riding a giant worm, that's real grounded,
I know. And Dallas, I definitely felt the Herbert was up his own butt on it, just watching the movie. And but at the same time, with that being said,
that's the phrase of the night for you.
I don't know if I can give it to Tron Legacy. So 4-0, Dune 2 wins.
I don't love the pity vote there, or the hem and haw vote. I
liked Dune. I did. I liked it.
We're talking about Dune 2.
I like Dune and Dune 2. I watched them simultaneously. Well, not at the same time, but I watched them consecutively.
I'm worried that we had an iRobot, I Am Legend situation here.
Were we watching Dune or the rock movie Doom based on a video game?
No!
Oh, jeez.
I played that game on my John Deere tractor.
And Dune 2 is the last one to advance inside of this episode.
And the last one to advance in our hearts.
Ooh, that was... we had a tomato thrown. One tomato is already on the board, and it did yield victory for the thrower. Congratulations, Cody, on Star Trek First Contact. Yeah. But that'll be it for this episode. If you've made it this far, congratulations and/or apologies apply as you see fit. But in exchange for your attention, next round of drinks are on me. We will be finishing out March Madness at our next episode at the end of the month, the last Sunday of March. But we also did want to announce that starting in April, the episodes of A Doctor and a Lawyer Walk Into a Bar, as well as recordings for all of our other shows inside of our network, will be recorded live. If you are a member of our Patreon, you will be able to join us live, be in the audience, listen to all the ums and ahs and all the uninteresting parts You can hear our thought process behind some of the narratives. You'll hear some of the colorful jokes that I have to edit out from Cody. Gosh, his mouth on
There's an
him
NDA that
sometime.
you have to sign.
Yeah, you have to sign an NDA. But a
No
doctor
screen
and a lawyer-
recordings. We all want to keep our jobs.
right.
This is a face for radio.
But A Doctor and a Lawyer Walk Into a Bar is a production of the Grapefruit Network. To find out more about this show, visit us at drandlawyer.show. And to find out more about the shows inside of our network, visit us at thegrapefruitnetwork.com. Links to the show, the Patreon, and all of our socials will be down in the description box below. And that's it for this one. Guys, I'm going to head out of here. I'm William.
I'm Dallas.
I'm Cody.
And I am the Lisan Al Gaib.
Gosh,
He'll explain that 6 hours from now.
May thy knife
see
chip
you
and
guys
shatter,
next
Dallas.
time. Bye.
Bye.
Are you kidding? I'm working.
All right, I'll be right there.
And grab the movie. Go, 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 go.
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend.
Made one, snapped in two, which was sad.